This playthrough is rated M for mature. It's time to enter back into the shadows. Greetings and salutations, viewers. Vauldemare here with some bonus content for Shadowrun Hong Kong. Last time we played, we beat the game, but now that that's all said and done, we could just take the game and leave it. But however, the extended edition adds a few more extra goodies for those who played the original game. So for those who thought the game just kind of ended with a lot of loose ends going on, well, this kind of covers a few of them up and fills out a few things that happen after the game ends. So what we need to do is to do a new game and do the bonus campaign, and this takes place sometime after the original game. I think it's like a couple weeks if I recall. So all you have to do is just launch the campaign and then use the save file from the finished game, and that'll pull up your file from whatever it is. So in the ending, and the bonus campaign is slightly different depending on which of the 4 endings you got, although some of them will overlap with each other. The major differences are if you choose the best ending and the bad ending will change some options and how the game ends, because this gives you basically another ending for it. So let's start the campaign and see how it goes. We're just going to stick with normal this time. Alright, so, yeah, I have a file from when I played this game like a long time ago back in the day. But anyway, this gives you an idea of like what you did in the game. So before you take the file, this is what your party did. So let's see what we got. Let's see what the game actually saves in my profile. It says, I successfully tricked Kuan Yan, admitting defeat, banishing her and saving Raymond. I chose to aid Gaichu in his fight against his old team, but did not let him turn Ishida into a ghoul. Actually, I did turn him into a ghoul. Huh. That must be a glitch in the system, because I let him turn him into a ghoul in my playthrough, so yeah, that's a bit of a bug. Alright. You prevented Gaichu's death at the hand of the Wampoan Elders and invited him to join your team. You invited Raptor to join your team of Shadowrunners. You've spoken with Raptor at length and earned his trust. You recovered Raptor's drone, self-repairing technology implemented in Cochet. You helped Gobbet defeat the Rat King, saving Cadmus and others who retook the ship. You accompanied Isabel to DECCON 2056. I thought there were supposed to be some other details on there. I don't know. But I don't know what everything that saves into it. So, but anyway, let's choose Wiggles for this file. So I think the other save file I have is basically the exact same. I have some others, but not on this specific setup. Rude Awakening. Something is wrong. The last thing you remember, it was the night of the Kowloon City riots. You and your team were running an errand for Kindly Chang, recovering an object before the inevitable police response turned the city upside down. Everything was going well. You had the item in hand, and then nothing. The world went black. A sudden explosion of pain behind your eyes jolts you back to the present. A nightmare succession of dream images flicker through your consciousness like a strobe light. A man with a pockmarked face, slim fingers playing over the surface of your brain, leaving a slug's trail of agony in their wake. A second figure whose face you couldn't see, digging with relish through the scrapes of memory that your tormentor left behind. It was a rough night, and now as your eyes snap open and adjust to the light, you find yourself in a reality that is a little more comforting. Yeah, I wonder how things went after the end of the previous game. Perhaps more nightmares? The Yama King's back? A single bulb hangs from a corrugated steel roof, the dim light that casts it barely enough to illuminate the tables in front of you. Your head throbs in time with your heartbeat, and each pulse gives rise to low grinding, stomach-churning discomfort. Heavy weights on your wrist tell you that you've been handcuffed. Try to clear your head. You squeeze your eyes shut and count to 10. The pain in your head slowly dissipates, and your vision gradually swims back into focus. There is a rag on your lap, an old washcloth, matted with congealed blood. The dull ache that radiates from the bridge of your nose up into your sinuses tells you where it came from. Try to remember how you got here. Slowly, delicately, you begin to search your memories, picking at the soft spots in your consciousness like day-old scabs. You get another burst of tooth-grinding agony for your troubles. Eventually, the pain begins to subside, and dim memories seep to the fore. You remember the distant reek of tear gas. You were on a job, an errand for Kindly Chang. She wanted you to retrieve something, a stone of some kind. You remember gunfire in the streets, the sound of distant screams, the dizzying blur of asphalt rushing toward your face as you fell, and then nothing. A blank. Concentrate. You screw your eyes shut and try to force the memories to the surface. A searing jolt of pain is your reward. With the pain comes a dream image, branded to your memory with crystal clarity. The first of your tormentors, the man with the pockmarked face. For a few torturous seconds, the images swim through your head, wriggling like an eel. Then, as suddenly as it came, the pain dissipates, fading away until it's swallowed by the relentless ache that throbs between your temples. In the distance, you hear the pop hiss of a pneumatic door unlatching and sliding open. An enormous figure steps into the room, and the door slides shut behind him. So who's our captor? Who, I say? Who? John Cena? You stand just barely, you can just barely make out the silhouette of the troll standing across the table from you. Your other senses work to fill in the blanks. Senses, I don't know why I said science. He's got a heavy build. The floor creaks every time he shifts his weight. The rust fabric of her sharp keratin tells you that he has prominent dermal deposits. He's also wearing way too much cologne. From the chest up, the darkness swallows him. You can see his face. Say nothing. The room remains silent as he busies himself arranging objects on the table in front of him. A notepad, a mug of soy calf, and an old ballpoint pen, an audio recorder. Finally, he looks up from the objects and focuses on you. Good morning, Mr. Boulder Shoulder. The words roll in his throat like rocks in a tumbler. How are you feeling today? Did you sleep well? Not at the bloody dish rag. Aside from the fact that I spent the night bleeding into a dirty towel, I'm great. Oh, poor baby. And I thought that you Shadowrunners were supposed to be tough. If it's any consolation, the nosebleed was expected. It's a common side effect of magical interrogation. You had your people poke around in my head, didn't you? They did something to me while I was unconscious. Yeah, that's right. Our mage probed your mind while you slept. He lifts the mug out of the light towards his lips. You hear a long, loud slurp as he sucks the steaming fluid down. Don't know the man himself, but I'm given to understand that he's good. Uses a light touch. Gestures at the bloody rag. You call this a light touch? Believe me, that nosebleed could have been a whole lot worse. We didn't have to put you on fluids, did we? He sets the mug down on the table. Murky liquid sloshes over the rim. He was even kind enough to give you a cloth to bleed into. Yeah, I'm sure that he's a real prince, but your other mage sure as hell isn't. His brow furrows. What other mage? I don't know what you're talking about. Bullshit, you had two of your people poking around my head last night. He shrugs. Must be a figment of your imagination. It happens sometimes. The brain invents details to try and make sense of what's happening to it. Give it a few days and the confusion should fade away. You'll see. Somehow I don't find your argument very confusing. We don't even have two mages on site, Wiggles. There's no way that you got scanned twice. He shrugs his broad shoulders. But hey, believe what you want. Don't let it distract you, though. We've got work to do. Now, let's get to it, shall we? He shuffles his papers, flips open the notebook on the table with the tip of his pen. Run me through what happened last night. I've got a better idea. You loosen these handcuffs and then go fuck yourself. A guffaw of laughter explodes out of him. Yeah, I figured you'd say something like that. Look, you aren't going to keep anything from us by refusing to cooperate. Boulder Shoulder, we've already pulled all the facts from your brain. They're just disorganized, jumbled up a bit. You cooperate with us, tell us the stories you remembered, and you can spare us a lot of busy work piecing that intel back together. Alternatively, you could keep your lips sealed. You could choose to do that, but then we'd have to probe your mind again, and more thoroughly this time. Nobody here wants that. Not me, not the mage, and certainly not you. Now, if you please, just tell me what happened last night. Just start at the beginning and take me through it until the moment that we picked you up. Not until I know what happened to the rest of my team. We got them. They're fine. You can see them after you told us what we want. Say nothing. Or say what we want to know. After a long pause, the troll sighs. He lifts his notepad and begins to rifle through the pages. Alright, if you don't want to start, I'll go ahead and do it for you. We made some headway in piecing together our mage's intel in the earlier part of the evening. You were headed to combat Pangs, the biker bar, at the behest of the fixer, kindly Chang. Chang is a respected figure in the Yellow Lotus triad. Chang sent you to Pangs because he had something that she wanted. He lowers the notepad and focuses on you. You see, talking to us isn't squealing. We already have all of the intel we need, but it'd be much more efficient if we could fill in the blanks. All that you're doing by climbing up is wasting time. You're doing just great on your own. He lets out a heavy sigh. I did tell you that we picked up your friends too, right? They're safe and sound in our hands for now, at least. If you refuse to help us, I can't promise that they'll stay that way. Uh, yeah, I knew it. It was just a matter of time before you resorted to threats. It isn't my call. I'm not in charge here. I'm just a man doing a job. The best way that you can help your friends is by cooperating. If we already have everything we need, there won't be any reason for some higher-ups to take rash actions. I'll deal with you and your higher-ups later. For now, I'll tell you what you want to hear. Good, and for what it's worth, I'm sorry. For now, please do your best to pick up where I left off. You were headed to combat Pangs, and Cheng had sent you there to conduct some sort of shakedown. Shakedown is such an ugly word. We engage in a spirited negotiations, that's all. Yeah, sure you did. If there's one thing that Eddie Pang is known for, it's his good-natured willingness to compromise. He glances at the notebook on the table. Says here that the object he stole was a Neolithic artifact, a jade Kong from the Langzhou period, dated back to 3000 BC, or thereabouts. It's just a rock to us. An ancient rock, maybe, but a rock all the same. That's pretty much all it is to anyone outside of the collector's circuit. Our mage ruled out any latent magic in the stone. It's basically a Ming vase, valuable as hell to the right person, but worthless to anyone else. We've got your boss's Kong locked up for safekeeping, by the way. It's in good hands with us. And now you said us earlier. That was you and... So what this basically sets up is who's with you on this, the first job. There's multiple jobs in the end game. I think there's like 6 or something like that. Some are pretty short and some are a little bit long, but they're like just like short little missions short/long missions to get through it. So, but this just tells you who's with you at the time. So you can do seriously. I believe that just choose your basic characters for it, but let's just choose them for them. So, but yeah, you can choose Gobbet, Isabel, Duncan, Ractor, and Gaichu. So, Gobbet, she'd heard that Comet Pang had really good bar food. Gobbet, the orc girl with a rodent fixation. He jots down a note on his pad. Okay, and who else? Isabel, she was there. The dwarf, right, quiet little thing. Another scribbled note. Alright, got it. And who else was the last remaining on your team? Duncan. The ex-cop. Nothing I hate more than a good guy gone bad. That wasn't his fault, really. The pen dances over the pad at a final time, then stops. Your interrogator glances up at you. I believe if you don't know this already, it automatically chooses Duncan, Gobbet, and Isabel. You choose the others if you want to mix it up with like Gaichu or Ractor, basically. Alright, so Chang sent the group of you to combat Pangs to recover a very old rock, and she sent you on the eve of one of the bloodiest riots in Kowloon City history. Funny timing, don't you think? Yeah, not at all. We used the riot for cover. With all the civil unrest in the streets, the cops were bound to be busy. But yeah, this sets up who's with you in the first mission. You'll have other missions. You can choose your group by then. So, the distant sounds of urban chaos rang in your ear as you led your team through a series of constrictive back alleys. It was hot out, sweltering, and the humidity left your body drenched. A bad night for a riot, but it made for good cover. You've been making good time since you left Hawaii, and Combat Pangs was only a few blocks away. We're getting close. Her nostrils flare as she sniffs the air. Smell that? Garlic, onion, sizzling oil. I'm thinking chicken wings. How are you getting any of that over the smoke and the tear gas is beyond me. You're right about one thing, though. We're getting close, and that means that we need to keep our guard up. Thanks for the tip, and here I was, all ready to waltz into Pangs with the hands in my pocket. Eddie Pang is no joke. I've heard stories about the Go gangs that Pangs runs, the 888s, the Black Sun Boys, and the Grinders, packs of animals and leather jackets, all of them, and they like to let their knives do the talking. Sounds like, was it the Sharks and, I forgot the two groups from West Side Story or whatever, or West Side Story. I forgot, it was like the Sharks and whatever. Man, it's been forever since I've watched that play and seen that movie. I didn't watch the remake that they did, unfortunately, so I don't know if that was any good, but... Chicken wings, gun show, focus! The guy that Pang was working the grill is supposed to be like some kind of kitchen whiz. He caramelizes the wings in fish sauce. That's what the guy at the bus stop told me. I mean, how amazing is that? I could go for some chicken. See? Killer gets it. Yeah, so... I'm worried about Eddie Pang or the punks that hang out at the bar. We got a job to do, and we're gonna do it. Yeah, I'm with you there. She flipped a rope of hair back over her shoulder with a careless toss of her head. Come on, folks, let's keep moving. The alleyway stretched out ahead of you. Its claustrophobic confines seemed to converge together in the distance. Your team began to move. Alright, let's take a look at this place. So, yeah, weirdly, Isabel has no lines of dialogue for this. I mean, she doesn't need to be here. There's no decking. So, come on, man, hurry up. The two figures in the dirty riding leather stood facing the shop window, the patches sewn to the backs of their jackets, calling them out as members of the Black Sun Boys, a small-time outfit, one of the dozens in neighborhoods that all operated under the supervision of Eddie Combat Pang. The window was unbroken, but not from their lack of trying. You could see a half a dozen indentations in the transplast, as many spent shell casings on the ground. The troll was working on an access panel, trying to brute force his way through the shop's security system. His human companion rocks on his heels, practically salivating over what was locked inside. It must be the last unbroken window on this block. Quite a prize for looters with ambition. Duncan smirked at the two, shook his head. If the owner of that shop invested in transplant windows, the building's probably alarmed. Might even have automated defenses, a pop turret or two. Yeah. If these two trip a building alarm, that could bring a security team right to the spot, riots or no riots. Bingo! He examined them, frowning. These idiots look like they've been out here for a while. They might be able to tell us about the police presence up ahead, if you could get them to talk to us. Otherwise, it's just leaving them be. Your call one way or the other. So you don't really need anything from these guys, but I'll do it anyway. The human ganger turns on his heels, spinning to face you, an exaggerated, phonetic motion. He was probably riding a cram high. He snarled at you through a mouthful of crooked teeth. Hey, stranger, this is our alley. Black Sun Boys turf, not a place for tourists. You scoot your narrow asses back out of this block and out of sight, or I'll make you sorry you were ever born. So if you have Strength 7 or Etiquette Gang, you can convince them otherwise. If you don't have any of these, you can't convince them and you'll have to fight them. And there's no reason to fight them because they don't drop any items. They don't give you an experience for them. So, change my mind. You aren't worth my time. The looter stared at you as you turned away, his mouth curled into a frown. Eventually turned back to watch his companion struggle with the door panel. So, yeah, unfortunately I don't have any of those skills for that. So, oh well. Not a big deal. I said not necessary for completing this. So, looks like some dead bodies. Hey kid, ever seen a dead body before? The bodies had been reduced to bloody ruin. The mouths were frozen open in expressions of silent terror. Your team gathered to examine the remains. These people were shot in the back. I don't see any weapons on them either. Somebody gunned them down while they were trying to run away. Bad night to go wandering. Speaking of which. Right, let's get to Pangs. We don't want to stay out here any longer than we have to. I think if I recall, Duncan has priority when it comes to conversations, so it depends on who you got with you. So, I think conversation requirement is based off, priority is based off, like, main characters. Raptor and Gaichu are considered optional, so they're not considered priority. But they do get dialogue sometimes, depending on the situation. Uh-oh. The HKPF patrols stared you down, their weapons held at the ready. In the center of the pack, a man in heavy tactical armor loomed over the others. The plates of his armor were emblazoned with the regalia of Hong Kong's elite special duties unit. One of the cops cupped his hand to his mouth and barked out a command. You! Hey you! Stop moving and put your hands in the air! Tough words, but he sounded nervous. There are a couple of gangers trying to break into a store just around the corner. If you hurry, you can still catch them. The cop blinked confusedly. The half turned to the SDU officer on his side. Sir, should we investigate the SDU officer cut in. His speech was slow and languid. He sounded vaguely bored. Later, Constable. We'll catch the looters when we're done here. But look at this man's clothes, his gear. These people are armed criminals and are breaking curfew. You have your orders. Whoa there. Let's just talk about this, alright? The big man growled into his throat mic, his amplified voice reverberating through the claustrophobic confines of the alley. Open fire! Yeah, you can't get out of this fight. It's required. So, alright, what do we got here? So, just a bunch of guards, a mage, captain, guard, and a sniper. So, mage dies first, like always. The only problem is that they're all in cover, so you have to... So, it's gotta be kind of tough to get a good... too bad the... See, I am on a ley line, but I'm on a weaker ley line. I could move there. I mean, it could move out in the open. I have to be careful, though. Although this fight isn't that bad when it comes to stuff, so... let's see. Actually, since so many people are together, let's hit him with the lightning ball. That should bounce into quite a few of them. Yeah, so very good. Oh, we put some to sleep. Nice. All right, excellent. We will take that to the bank. Can I hit anyone else? Let us hold off and get a little bit closer with everyone and see. Might want to try for, let's try for drone grenades in this case. So. That way, since he's, oh, nice. Okay, we're out of ammo there. Gaba, let's have you move it there and then cast haste on Duncan, since he's our heavy hitter. So, oh yeah, in the main campaign, a lot of characters are a little bit more durable, but one of the big things is that they're going to start throwing grenades more often, and they're also, a lot of them are actually going to start having Shiwa's robotic arms, so you have to be careful about your grenade usage in this campaign. So keep that in mind. Luckily, these guys are knocked out, so they don't. Luckily, they can't use their arms, although I don't believe these guys specifically do. But you know. Nice, knocked him out. Alright, let's see if we can hit that sniper with a fireball. It won't do a ton of damage because he's in cover. 85% game. Yep, okay, so they start. Oof, they hit me with an AP bomb. Yeah, see, okay, so it's, should have had Duncan stick with them. Oh well, that's fine. I almost want to just get behind him and take that guy out. See, he is still in cover, but I'm flanking him, so, and I'm out. Let's see if I can get you out of cover if I hit right. Nice. All right, cool. Wonder if I can mark you. No, that'll make it easier for Duncan to hit him. So. Let's have Duncan finish him off if we can. What? His hit was really good too. It said like 80 something or whatever, and I still missed most of the time. Alright, fine. Ow. Ow. Yeah, it sucks for me because I'm knocked out and out in the open. There's not much I can do on that. Now it's lightning ball or chain lightning again. I think they might be close enough. Yeah, I love this ability. And having it be on a ley line helps with my spells, so lets me ricochet them if it's a basic attack. Alright, let's get behind him so we can actually flank him. Oops. Now we want to do a regular attack. There we go. Sniper down. Might as well see if we can let's see. Yeah, I don't really have. I guess I could try to hit him. Yeah, didn't think so. Too much cover. Yeah. See? They're gonna throw grenades like all willy-nilly, but since it's the first fight, I don't have to worry about too much about it, but yeah. This is why you want to have robotic arms or keep Duncan in your party pretty regularly. So if you didn't use Duncan before and you don't have a magnetic arm, you might want to consider it. Without warning, the caked and bloody comlink that you pulled off the body of the SDU officer crackled to life. A second later, a cold voice pouring through the device's speaker. Constable, this is Crate. It's her, the cop on all the newscasts when the APB went out on his live. She set up the ambush that killed Carter and fucked up our lives. I want all the units to move into position and sound off. You will then hold action until I say otherwise. You will put this riot down and restore the city order. This riot is a response to police brutality in Kowloon City because something tells me that Crate's plan is to restore order isn't going to be gentle. We don't want to be out here when all that comes in. I'm not concerned. If they're stupid enough to attack us, we'll do to them what we did to the owner of this comlink. Yes, sure. We could probably handle them, but we're getting paid to fetch a rock, not condemn cops. I mean, it's your call, but Peg's bar is right up in the corner. I suggest that we just beeline it there. Alright. That might be a good idea. Or we could explore around. There is an achievement you can get in this area. If you find a specific encounter. Which is this one. This block was harder hit by the riots than others you've been through. The air has been churned into a noxious slurry of soot, ash, and tear gas. It was stomach churning beyond foul. Through the haze, you could see the patrol squad of HKPF constables facing off against a man and a woman in shabby winter coats. The man was doubled over, coughing, clutching a loaf of bread in one hand and a cheap pocket knife in the other. The woman was holding a small crowbar, frozen like a deer in headlights. Both were clearly terrified. A half a dozen laser dots played over their bodies, projected from the sights of the constable's weapons. "Drop your weapons! Get on your knees! Do it now!" The knife hit the ground, clattering to the rest on the asphalt. "Please, our house burned down in the riots. We just needed food and water. We aren't looters. We just needed to eat." Isabel leaned in to whisper into your ear. "The cops can't see us through the smoke. They don't know we're here. If we give them a wide berth, they could probably slip past undetected. Those two, though, well, they'll be screwed. Personally, I prefer if we intervene. It's your call." This is the same person who wouldn't save her family from the city and help them get out, so I'm just saying, you're very inconsistent. SDU sergeant voice boomed out over integrated speakers in his tactical armor. "On your knees, this is your last warning." So if you want an achievement, you need to attack these guys. So I've already got it, but I want to just show it off. So if you don't care about the achievement, you can leave it be. It only makes a minor difference in certain things. Not like ending the game type of situation. Alright, leave them alone. The constables wheel at the sound of your voice, but you were faster than they were. You caught them flat-footed. So we get a free turn by choosing to attack them. And the woman and the man decide to run off because, yeah. Alright, Gobbit. Let's summon a spirit to help with this. Unfortunately, that leaves me out in the open, but, well, I mean, I could still get cover. I just have to run over here. Alright, she summons a fire spirit. So I could just use all that to hit. I'll have to move into open area because let's move over here. "Those be the hostiles, take them out!" Alright, let's hit him with a fireball. Yeah, hit him there. Boom. Actually, just to let you guys, there's also another achievement you can get. It's kind of hard to get, but it's called oh, I forgot the name. Basically what it is, you have to hit someone with 3 DOT type of attacks, which is one's like fire, one's like acid or something like that, and I'm trying to remember the other type of attack, but it has to be DOT damage. It has to be 3 different types, and if you can get that all of them and eventually kill them with all those 3 DOTs on them, you can get an achievement. I don't think I've got that one because I keep not using them properly in a situation. So one to have is you with a fireball or someone with a fireball and then guide you with a spit is another way to do it. So, but anyway. Alright, we could try to just see. I mean, I've got the lightning balls, so that'll hit all of them. Or I should have hit most of them. I guess it didn't ricochet far enough, which is weird. They're close enough, but alright. Let's hit you with a accuracy buff. Might just leave myself out in the open, to tell you the truth. I mean, yeah, that's dangerous, but we got them flat-footed, so that might be fine for me. Oh, whoops. I meant to... Oh, right! I forgot about that. I just told you that they have robotic arms now, and the grenade launcher does count as a robotic arm. Whoops! I just tell you guys to be careful about that, and then I fall for my own thing. Okay. Yeah, talk about not paying attention to your own suggestions. You know what I mean? At least the beanbag doesn't count. But yeah, it's gonna be common. So basically, at this point in the game, I'm not gonna give my people any grenades anymore because there's no point. And I'll have to give and unfortunately that means that kills Isabel's grenade launcher ability. So I'll have to buy her a new weapon if we have enough cash. There's a couple of weapons you can use that don't work with the magnetic throwing arms. So Let's see. Oh, I can't see you guys anyway to do mana charge. I could just kill myself. Yeah, they have an ability called Explosion, which basically just has them blow up. That's not a very good to hit. Hit, so, alright. Yeah, let's finish this guy off because he's a conjurer. He's a conjurer of cheap tricks, they say. Awesome. There he goes. So he's out. But the conjurer is almost dead, so no worries. Gobbet, let's have you haste Duncan. I said he's my heavy hitter, so it's better just to do that. So. See, I should be able to use on him because he doesn't have the arm. Oh, but it didn't do enough damage. Not doing the damage I want from on him. Alright, let's finish you off. There we go. Yeah, I was hoping I'd do enough damage. Oh well. How do you block fire damage? But anyway. Yeah, I want to get basically around him so I can actually hit them with let's see. Let's use double tap with her. Well, just making sure it hit, so. Now let's get you out of cover if we can hit. Oh, come on. Alright, fine. Let's hit you with acidic fog then. Oh yeah, that's another one. Acidic fog and then poison. So Gaishu might have been a good choice to have here just to hit them all with the attacks if she had hit anyway, so. Okay, we're gonna play that game, huh? Just gonna miss every attack, huh? Alright. Alright, let's try this. Man, I'm just not hitting today for whatever reason. Wow. I am just not doing very good at this fight, huh? Let's try getting rid of you. Come on, man. Alright, that should be enough, so let's... oh, I thought I had a... Huh. Okay, for some reason, I moved past whatever I was gonna do. What is going... Seriously. Hit them already. There we go. Woof. Good lord. That was supposed to be an easy encounter, too. But anyway, let's talk to them and see how they feel. But yeah, I think it's after you beat them you get the achievement, or maybe after you talk to them, but yeah. The civilians blink up at you, their faces ashen. The man still hugs his stolen loaf of bread. In his terror, he's crushed it into an hourglass shape. Ooh la la. We're alive! Oh, thank God we're still alive. We've seen the police do brutal things in here before, but nothing like this. They were gonna kill us! Kill us over 3 New Year's worth of bread! Don't thank God, thank me. Oh, yes, thank you. Thank you so much. We'll never be able to repay you. Come on, love, let's find a place to hide until this blows over. I am God. No, okay. Anyway, let's keep going. And yeah, if you wanted to go around, you could just basically ignore them and just do this. And just go through the side passages here, and that would basically go through, as you can see there. But we can miss something if we don't go back here. So, alright, get a flashbang grenade. Let's take it. But unfortunately, because of the whole... I mean, really the only people that do have those medic arms are, like, captains and specific guards. If they're, like, a mage or a conjurer, you can throw them at them as long as none of those people are around, because they won't have the arm, because they won't do it for essence. But anyway, the police calmly cackled to life again. Great. All teams, ready your weapons and prepare for my mark. Do not, I repeat, do not move before you are instructed to. Anyone who fails to obey this command will answer to me. Await my instructions. Crate out. Alright. Let's see what the local residents are doing. Local resident. A group of middle-aged people in shabby clothing were gathered in the street, huddled together and clutching their positions. They were wide-eyed, staring, some obviously in shock. The riots had taken their toll. A man with a patchy beard, the leader of the group, by the looks of the things, leaned forward, his eyes shifting from one member of the congregation to the next. His voice was low and urgent, his tone serious. Look, we can't stay here. Let's gather whatever we can carry, go to the barricades at the edge of town, and show the cops our ID. Once we can prove that we live here and that we're unarmed, they'll let us through. That's the plan. If you leave town, I advise you sneak out, stick to the back alleys, and whatever you do, don't approach the cops. The back alleys are full of lunatics. The riots are still going on around us. There are gangers and looters and triad thugs. We need to get someplace safe with bright lights and security. We've got to go to the cops and ask for help. You can't trust the police. If you go to them, you're gonna regret it. They're cops. I like our odds better with them than I do with people out here on the streets. He turned his head towards the others. If you need anything from your homes, clothes, and heirlooms, valuables, go get them, and be quick about it. We'll be back up here in 10 minutes, and then we're headed to the barricade. We're getting out of this death trap. Alright, well, hopefully they survive. I'm not sure. I'm trying to remember if it's this mission or the next mission, but there's a certain character that if you bring Gaichu with them, well, I think it's the next mission, I believe. Maybe I'm misremembering. There's a mission where if you bring Gaichu, he'll scare a character and he'll get pissed off, but I think that's the next mission, so. A lanky man in a skin-tight vest leered at you as you entered the bar. He looks like a low-level go-ganger, dressed in black sun boys' colors. He stepped out in front of you to block your progress. Bar's closed, on orders of the boss. He pointed at the door that you walked in through. Step on out of here, now. You have no idea who you're talking to, do you? He shook his head, defiance in his eyes. No, I don't, and I don't care. And if you're here, you're nothing unless Combat Pang says different. His hand lowered to the knife on his belt. Now I'm going to give you a choice. Get moving or stop bleeding. I fought a demigod in one. You are a punk with a knife. Tell me again who has the death wish. He took a moment to size you up, really examine you, and the bravado disappeared. Oh, hey, I don't want to. He looked back over his shoulder towards the bar. Boss? A low voice growled out from behind the bar. Fuck me sideways, Jimmy. Have I got to do everything myself around here? Why do I even keep you around for? Eddie, Combat Pang, the owner of Combat Pangs and the ringleader of half a dozen Kowloon City go-gangers, the Black Sun boys included. He leered at you through a mouthful of gold-capped teeth. Pang was a living stereotype, the surly dwarf in the flesh. 10 tons, a Napoleon complex, and a 70-kilo body. All right, you won't listen to my boy. Maybe you'll listen to me. We are closed. If you want to keep all your fucking teeth, you'll turn around and go the way you came. I already fought a lady with a million teeth, so thank you very much. No way, man. You reopen that kitchen. You do it now. We're here for wings, and... breasts and thighs, and we also want the artifact that you stole because fuck you, that's why. You heard the man, Pang. We want chicken parts and an ancient rock, and we want them now, with extra sauce and a bucket of lobster rolls and a whole fistful of napkins. Wet wipes, too, if you have them. He wrapped his fingers against the bar, an innocuous gesture, but it set alarm bells ringing in your head. All around you, gangers began shifting their positions, their smiles growing ugly, hands creeping towards holsters. From somewhere in the back of the room, you heard an ominous sound, heavy footsteps, and the scrape of something metal against the floorboards. Kitchen's closed, sweetheart, unless you want to man the oven yourself. Chicken's off the table, but if you come back for happy hour sometime, I'd be happy to hook you up. He shifts his gaze to you. Now, if you want the rock, I've got to assume that you're on Chang's payroll. That true? You first. Tell me about the calling you lifted. What's a man like you want with a Neolithic artifact anyway? What business is it of yours? His mouth dips into a frown. He holds the expression for a few seconds and shakes his head. You know what? I'm going to go ahead and answer that for you. It's none of your fucking business. The rock belongs to me now. End of story. You want to bet? The stone is kindly changed and you've stolen it. I'm here to get it back. He began to chuckle, an ugly sound thick with malice. I don't think so, Aaron boy. Kind of reminds me of Lunar. I don't think so, Dragon Boy. No, anyway. You're standing in my home right now. See all these people around you? They're my friends, and they don't take kindly to strangers who come in here trying to throw their weight around. So if you have etiquette gang or etiquette security, you can get a different reaction to them. If not, you can just go straight into combat mode. But since I have security, I can say, the alleyways outside are crawling with cops, and they're preparing for something big. You sure you want gunfire in here? If they hear it, they'll have to investigate. Yeah, and wouldn't that be terrible? We certainly don't want any trouble with the police. Of course, you'd be dead, so he spreads his hands with a smile. More shifting from the assembled gangers in the bar. Some of them looked angry, ready to start shooting and cutting, but others were clearly concerned. Conley Chang's name carried a lot of weight in Kowloon City, and everybody knew the Yellow Lotus. The shift wasn't difficult for you to see. Payne could see it too. Tell you what, I'm in a generous mood tonight, and I don't really need the rock for anything. Sounds like Chang's got you in a bind, and you're going to be in trouble with her if you don't bring it back tonight. So I'll sell it to you. Give me, say, 500 Union, I'll have your boys fix it up. So you could pay him, obviously, and get rid of it, or you could take it from him to fight him, or if you have Charisma 7, you can say, I've got a better idea. You give me the rock, and I'll try extra hard to convince Conley not to burn your bar to the ground. I can't let you take it for free. That set a bad example for the boys. It's mine, and you got to give me something for it. Oh, I'm giving you something. My help in keeping the Yellow Lotus from murdering your entire family. That goes for everyone in this room, by the way. The corners of his mouth drew down into an ugly scowl. He took another moment to size you up, his eyes darting from you to each member of your team. Then he glances back to his gangers. They were jumpy, nervous. His slab-like hands curled into fists. It's in a cubbyhole behind the bar. Go on, take the thing and get out. More trouble than it's worth anyway. Alright, that's how you can... Now, you can fight this guy if you want to. There's a... I think there's a mage, summoner, and then a couple straight-up samurai characters, as you can see there. But no reason to fight them, so that's all on if you want it or not. So, or if you just don't have the skills, so... Alright, and that's it. So we can leave now. And I don't think there's anything else in here, if I recall. No. Okay, just making sure. But yeah, nothing else. I do like how in some games you can avoid combat if you have the right skills or whatever. Although you have to kind of know ahead of time, so... Seems like... Or if you played the game before. Seems like an awful waste, all this trouble over a stupid hunk of rock. Oh, was that supposed to be me? Sometimes this game still has some weird bugs where certain portraits weren't put in or coded in or whatever. It's Kenley's rock. That's all we need. We have to know. I mean, that could have been me, could have been Duncan, could have been Gobbet who said that. So, this was a total milk run. Didn't even break a sweat. Something metallic hit the ground at your feet, cutting you short. A canister of some kind. You didn't hear where it came from. Yeah, I didn't want to speak over the sound effect. By the time that you could possess what was happening, it was too late. The metal tube erupted, spraying out a hissing steam of concentrated vapor. In the distance, you could see a group of figures wearing gas masks. Not riot control cops, not SDU, but official-looking, wearing red uniforms. They were already moving in, beelining in your direction. Uh-oh, is it the Red Samurai? Hold your breath. I mean, it doesn't matter at this point. You sealed your lips shut, but its vapors crawled up into your nostrils anyway. It was sharp with a chemical tang that you could taste in the back of your throat. It made your eyes burn and filled your mouth with saliva. You stumbled forward, struggling to right yourself. It was a lost cause. The world went black. And thus we find ourselves at the end of the prologue of the extended edition. Your words ring metallically off the confinement room walls. You've been talking for so long, recounting all the tedious details of your run. No, we've only been playing the game for like 30 minutes. So, the voice hums in your ears after you finish speaking. The single flickering bulb above your head sways in an invisible breeze. Beyond the light's reach, your interrogators stand shrouded in shadow. You can't see his eyes, but you can feel them quietly observing you from the safety of his corner. His silence opens the floodgates to your thoughts, and the questions come pouring in. Were you brought here alone, with others? Most of all, what do your captors want from you? You finished your story. There's nothing left to tell. It's his turn to talk. The troll lifts his audio recorder from the table and clicks it off. He stands in silence for a moment, looming over you, sizing you up. Then he purses his lips and nods. And that's where we picked you up. Well, the story ended with me getting knocked unconscious. What do you think? You know, as a rule, I don't like smartasses, but you make a fair point. Alright, thank you for recapping all that for me, Mr. Boulder's Shoulder. Your testimony was extremely helpful. I didn't have much choice, did I? I suppose not, but I'm gonna make it up to you. I mean, it's only fair that you learn something in return. He casts you a sidelong glance. We recovered this at the site. Take a look and see what we saved you and your team from. He sets the PDA down on the desk and activates it with the tip of his pen and slides it toward you. Just watch and don't touch. We don't want your fingerprints on the thing. Watch the video feed. The feed is shaky. Whoever owned this device must have been panicked, out of breath. You can see people, swarms of people, including the locals that you spoke to on the street. All are carrying burdens of some kind of another. A laptop here, a knapsack there, backpacks bulging with shrink-wrapped food, bottled water. None of the locals appear to be armed. The camera wheels around and you can see a firing line of police. The man with the patchy beard is pleading with them, begging to be let through. He says that he isn't a rioter, that none of the people here are. The constable, faceless behind his mask, says nothing. The camera focuses on a figure behind police lines. Her features are instantly familiar. Chief Inspector Crate. She looks straight into the camera, then she reaches her hand to an ear and speaks into her comlink. Her voice is loud and clear enough that you can hear it over the PDA's tiny speakers. Or tinny. Because it said it has two ends, so it's tinny. So I thought it was tiny. But yeah, anyway. All teams, you know your orders. Open fire. Put them down. Yeah, this is what happens to those rider people that said they were going to go to the cops. Well, this is what happens if they get shot. An explosion of gunfire fills your ears. The camera spins crazily, and you catch a panoramic view of bodies bursting like water balloons. Faces that you recognize from your trip to Combat Ping scream for help and are silenced. The second volley of gunfire catches the owner of the PDA. You hear him shriek. Watch the camera spin dizzyingly. You hear a sickening crack, and the video feed flickers and dies. The PDA goes silent. Without a word, your interrogator lifts it from the table and returns it to the evidence bag. Never thought I'd be this happy to get drugged and kidnapped. You should be. If we hadn't brought you in, you'd have been gunned down with the rest of those poor bastards you saw in that video feed. No questions, no arrests, just a hail of bullets that should have converted you and your team from Shadowrunners into statistics. Yeah, they killed everyone, shot indiscriminately into the crowd. He nods slowly. Officially, the Special Duties Unit suppressed the riot just like they were supposed to. That's the story that all the news outlets are running with. Unofficially, well, you be the judge. You must need me for something. If you didn't, you would have let Crater and men take me down. Solid reasoning. Let's just say that people at the top have had their eyes on you for a while now. You've got all the answers you need soon enough. The troll stretches, slips his pen back into his breast pocket, and flips his notepad shut. Then he taps a series of keystrokes into his PDA, and the cuffs around your wrists go slack. The lights in the room come up, and for the first time you can see his face. The badge on his hip. HKPF, standard issue. A laminated card clipped to his breast pocket states his name. Inspector David Yang. Okay, I think we are done here. Hang on, you can't just show me what you just showed me and then cut me loose. Who said anything about cutting you loose? I'm done questioning you, that's all. You're a guest at the HKPF, and you're going to remain that way until we say differently. Guest of the HKPF, you're going to have to clarify that. Not my job. I need to speak with Qua and Lamb for that. Don't you worry, they'll be sending for you soon enough. Qui and Lamb, who are they? You'll find out. Well, I guess we'll see. Let's get out of here and find out. The door looks solid. You can't see any visible doorknob or latching mechanisms from where you're standing. Most likely it's barred from the other side. Examine the door more closely. The door is made of heavy steel. It appears to be mounted to a set of tracks on the tops and bottom of the door frame, designed to slide rather than swing open. When closed, it sits flush with the wall. Your best guess is that the room you're in was built in one piece, and that the door was later cut from it. Attempt to force open the door. You slam your shoulder in the door. It rings like a gong, but it doesn't open. Put some muscle into it. You rear back, take a deep breath, and throw another shoulder check. The clanging noise that reverberates inside the room is impressive, but the door doesn't budge. You do it again, a third time. Nothing. Eventually, you hear the sound of muffled voices on the other side of the door, followed by a dull thunk. The scrape of metal dragged over metal fills your ears. The door pops open, but only a crack. A sliver of daylight streams through from the other side. The sun stabs your eyes as you step from the interrogation room into the noonday sun. Blinking against the glare, the world gradually swims into focus. A familiar face greets you. Pikel, you're out. Thank God they had you locked away in there since we got here. He leans to peer into the trailer. Looks empty. The way they were pounding on the door, I assumed that somebody was beating you in there. Nobody beat on me, but maybe more. By the way, the dialogue is different if you don't do anything to the door, so. They got you too? Great, there goes my chance at a rescue. Yeah, sorry to have inconvenienced you. He begins to pace, stalking up and down the length of the fence that closed you. I don't get this. Why are our captors playing at? And why didn't they interrogate us too? It doesn't make any sense for them to question you for hours while we're all sitting out here. None of that makes sense, my friend. He produces a cigarette from his breast pocket and dangles it from his hip. Our captors are dressed like police constables, but this isn't central booking. It's a damned impound lot. And guessing you as you did is an unorthodox tactic, to say the least. How'd they pick you up, Raptor? You weren't even with us. I was taken unawares, as I imagine you were. Truth be told, I was working in my shop at the time. I'd rather not dwell on it, truth be told. It's a long story. How come Crochet didn't stop them?
You know what else doesn't make sense? The cops coming after us at all. I mean, the APB on us was lifted, right? That's what Annie Chang said after we got out of the walled city. It was the APB that Josephine saying it Crate put out on us came with a kill or capture order attached to it, and they weren't paying much attention to the capture part. If the APB hadn't been lifted, we wouldn't be having this conversation. We'd all be dead, just like Nightjar and Carter.
Duncan's back stiffens, but he holds his tongue.
We should be dead now, or in a secure facility somewhere. Instead, we're sitting in an impound lot, and not just us either.
She gestures into the distance. At the edge of the impound yard, tethered to the docks, the wrestling hulk of the big Texas rises above its surroundings. Heavy chains snake up from secure moorings on the dock to heavy maglocks that clamp down on the vessel's hull. She isn't going anywhere.
They didn't just arrest us, they arrested our damn boat.
And those of us on board were taken along for the ride. He lets out an irritated grunt. No warning was given. They simply hooked us to a tug, cut away our moorings, and hauled us away from the harbor.
Can't you shed any more light on this at all, Killer? I mean, did whoever you talked to in there let anything else slip up or anything?
You mentioned a couple of names. Any of you ever heard of anyone named Lamb or Key?
I know lots of people named Lamb and Key, too. They aren't uncommon names. Considering where we are, I guess that they're high-ranking cops. Beyond that, though, your guess is as good as mine.
Gaichu suddenly leans towards the cell door, his head cocked and an eyebrow raises. He lifts a gnarled hand, gesturing for the team to halt. Halt? We're not moving around or doing anything. Do you hear that? Footsteps. Someone is coming. He lowers himself to a ready stance. Prepare yourselves. We are about to have company. A uniformed constable wearing a sergeant's insignia passes through a set of double gates and into your holding pen. She walks with an air of quiet authority, her face an expressionless mask. A pair of wary eyes fix themselves on you. Wiggles? Her voice is crisp and cold. Step forward, please. I'm not doing anything until I know what why you're holding us here. If you come along quietly and do as you're told, all of your questions will be answered. Now step forward and please. Senior Inspector Lamb and Key want a word with you. That isn't good enough. I want you to talk to me right here in the yard where we all can hear you. I don't care what you want. I've been ordered to release you into the yard and direct you to the Senior Inspector's trailer. That's what I'm doing. Now, do you want to know why you and your team are here, or would you rather stay here in that cage? Raptor whispers to you. Go, my friend. Get to some answers. Once we have information, we can plan our next move. Alright, I'll do your meeting. I'll go to your meeting. What do you need me to do? In a moment, I'm going to let you out of this cage. When I do that, I want you to make your way to the command trailer near the edge of the docks. Don't try anything stupid. You're being watched. You're just letting me out without handcuffs or an escort? Wouldn't have been my call, but Key and Lamb want it that way. Something about building trust. She punches the final button on her PDA and the massive gates to the pen that hold you begin to rumble open. Go on, start walking. You don't want to leave the senior inspectors waiting. But do I want to leave the senior inspectors waiting? What do they have for us? What about our companions? What is going on here? We'll find out next time in the next episode of Shadowrun Hong Kong, the extended edition endings, or extended content. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed. I'll see you next time.